Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jana Balava, Givanadhari, Bijana Balava, Givanadhari, Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana,
Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana,
Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana,
Yamuna Tira Vanachari,
Yamuna Tira Vanachari,
Yamuna Tira Vanachari,
Tira Vanachari,
Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari,
Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari,
Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari,
Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva,
Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol,
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Radhika Raman Giriju Ki Jai Ho. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Namo Maha Vandanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gora Tavashe Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my heartfelt Puspanjali to the lotus feet of my Harinam Diksha Guru, our Srila Prabhupada. Second of all, to my Bhajan Shiksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, our Gurudev, and to Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to our entire Guru Parampara, and especially to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and his Madhurya Kadambini. And today is a very, very special day in Vrindavan. I think around the world it was yesterday in some countries, but here in Vrindavan today is Akshaya Tritiya, which is a very, very amazing day. Akshaya means it's imperishable, means whatever you say, and it's also very auspicious. So whatever we start on this day should be going successfully. Now, in the material world, if you do something material, begin something material here, it cannot actually be eternal, because the material world is not eternal. But if we begin spiritual activities, like let's say one takes initiation, Harinam initiation today, then his initiation will be very successful and eternal, because that's spiritual. Whatever material things we start today, that will be successful for this life, maybe for more, but this material world is temporary. So today is the day that Lord Brahma, our Adi Guru, to fulfill the desire of Krishna. Krishna likes Srishti Leela, the creation Leela. This is part of his what do you say? All of his desires cannot be fulfilled without this material creation. So today, a long time ago, he created the material world. The material universe got created today. So it's a very special day. This is a day when one of Krishna's desires was fulfilled by Lord Brahma. And one of the reasons why the material creation is here is because Krishna likes to save the fallen conditioned souls. And if there's no fallen conditioned souls, there's no one to save. So as his incarnation of Prem Purushottam, Śrī Mahaprabhu, he comes with all of his entourage and he saves the fallen conditioned souls. So, and today, in the beginning, when he created the universe, the first thing that one of the first things that he created was barley. Barley, it's a grain. I don't know what it is, barley. And barley was the first food created. It's a source, it's a source of all foodstuffs, and it's considered it's almost considered like a medicine. Srila Narayana said it's like a medicine. And so today, in all the temples in India, it's traditional that you offer foodstuffs made from barley. They make special ladus from barley. They make a special kheer from ladu, and they put in all kinds of fruits and jaggery. So many special offerings with barley will be presented to Krishna today. Krishna likes this. Everything's for the pleasure of Krishna, right? And so I actually, I'm not so familiar with all the traditional things, but and today is also the day that they, 4 days before today, in many temples, they have a brass pot, and there's a hole in it, and beneath the brass pot, there's a shalagram. And the water's dripped on the shalagram, and is collected. And so today, they serve the charnamrita from this shalagram, special mahaprasadam, this charnamrita from shalagram, in some temples. And they mix this charnamrita with camphor, and then they distribute it. So that's interesting. And also one of the traditional, they make bale. They take bale fruit. You don't have that around the world so much, but in India, maybe they do in South America, I don't know. Anyhow, bale fruit is a special fruit. And you make drinks from this bale fruit. And they're very, very medicinal, actually. So from this bale, you mix it with milk, paneer, jaggery. And you offer that with roasted chickpeas. It's very traditional. I mean, separate. You have the drink and the chickpeas, and that's offered as prasadam in many temples. This is traditional. So these are the few of the traditional, bhoga that's offered to Krishna today. I can't tell you why, except that that's what they've done. So today is also Chandan Yatra. Goes for 21 days. And there's many stories behind Chandan Yatra. One is that the Supreme Lord, he's always hungry for prem. He likes to taste prem, the prem in the hearts of his devotees, right? He's Atmaram, he's Atmakam, his desires are all fulfilled in one sense. He's fully satisfied, but he's more satisfied when he can taste the prem in the heart of his devotees. He likes to serve his devotees, and he likes his devotees to serve him. So he's always thinking of ways to encourage, or you might not trick, but to obtain the service of his devotees. So on Chandan Yatra time, he comes up with an excuse, because it's usually hot. Now in India today, it's raining, it's stormy, it's almost cold. It's very unusual for Akshaya Tritiya in India. Anyhow, in Vrindavan. I don't know about the rest of India. Usually it's really hot. And so Krishna, he inspires in his devotee. The first one was in Jagannath Puri, in the heart of Indradyumna Maharaj. He goes way back. Indradyumna Maharaj was one of the causes for the appearance of Lord Jagannath. That's the whole story. We know that story. He's the one who opened the doors before it was time to open the doors, right? And then there was Lord Jagannath, because he wanted to appear like that. So anyhow, Lord Jagannath inspired in the heart of Indradyumna that he was so hot. He was so hot. I'm too hot. So please, smear. You smear chandan on my body, like that. Also, it's the day, today is the day that Madhavendra Puri, who had a Gopal deity in Vrindavan, we know that, and also Gopal, he told Madhavendra Puri, I'm hot, you have to go all the way to Puri, and you have to get chandan, and you have to bring chandan and camphor to cool me off. I'm too hot. He was at Govardhan, right? And so it was on this day that Madhavendra Puri had collected the chandan and the camphor actually from the king in Puri. And usually sannyasis, they don't talk with kings, but for the service of Gopal, because the king had to give permission for this. Because sandalwood and camphor there is very special. You have to get the king's permission. So he got all this sandalwood and he got all this camphor. And it was on this day that he started walking from Puri. And he was going to walk all the way with all this. He had some helpers to Govardhan. But he got to a town called Remuna, which isn't too far from Puri. And there's one Kir Chor Gopinath there. And this is a famous story. We won't get into the whole story. This is where Gopinath stole some kir for Madhavendra Puri, his devotee. And he kept it for him and he gave it to him. So when he got this far, Gopal appeared in Madhavendra Puri's dream and said, you give this chandan and the camphor, you grind it and you mix it and you give it on the body. You smear it on the body of Gopinath and that will cool me off. And so they did this. And after 21 days, all the camphor and chandan were finished. And Gopal was cool. And this is a place also where Madhavendra Puri entered Samadhi. His Samadhi is there in Remuna. And so also, on this day in Puri, the, what do you call it? I think it's Vijay Vigraha of Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra. This is the Madan Mohan deity. He's a deity, I think he's about this big. I'm not quite sure how big he is. He's a Krishna. Anyhow, he gets in a boat in, I think it's Narendra Sarovar, or is it Indradyumna? It's one of the Sarovar. I think it's Narendra Sarovar. And all the devotees take him and he goes for a boat ride, boating around on Narendra Sarovar. And I think he does that for 21 days also. And also in Puri, it's another very special day. This is a day that the devotees of Jagannath, they start building, constructing the Rath Yatra chariots for Jagannath, for his Rath Yatra. So it's in Puri today is very festive today. Yes. But also all over in India, all the deities will be covered with sandalwood. Here in Vrindavan, in the evening, all the deities will be covered with chandan, and the devotees will go on darshan to all of these, and they'll be serving out these drinks and these ladus and everything for all. It's traditional. And let me tell you, Vrindavan is packed with pilgrims. There's so many pilgrims, no cars allowed, even the bicycles and the motorcycles, it's so many pilgrims coming. Very, very special day. Also on this day, let's see, there's unlimited auspicious. This is a day in the Himalayas at Charudam, Bhadrak Ashram, and the Badrinarayan temple. The temple doors have been closed all winter. They closed, is it September, October? I forget exactly which day they close. And it's said that they have a lamp that's lit when they close the temple. And I've heard that it's Narada Muni who does the puja when behind the closed doors. And when they open the doors today, that lamp is still going. And it's a very, very auspicious day. And I think the temples also in Gangotri and Jamunotri, these temples also open today for worship. And it's very, very auspicious to do Charodam Parikrama. You go to Badrinath, Kedarnath, Jamunotri, Gangotri. So from now on until it's about 6 months, the temple will be open. Also, today is the day in 1941 when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he began the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. That was his mission to serve his Gurudev, to reestablish some of the activities, the devotional activities that had been stopped after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta entered Nitya-lila. Many things some of the presses had stopped, the publications had stopped, the parikramas had stopped. There was confusion within the Gaudiya Math. And so on this day in 1941, he actually inaugurated the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti to reestablish the preeminence of bhakti over karma, gyan, yogas. Bhakti is the essence of Vedanta. And so then, let's see, where was I? And amazingly enough, there were some personalities there, but there were 3 very important personalities. One of the personalities that helped him begin the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti was our own Srila Prabhupada. He was not a sannyasi at the time. He was Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu, but he was there. And this was in Calcutta, Bagh Bazar, Calcutta, in a rented place. Prabhupada was there, because he was a very, very dear friend of Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. They were very good friends from way back. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj had stayed with Prabhupada, I think in Allahabad, in Prabhupada's place there. And also Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami had stayed there. So anyhow, he was part of the beginning of the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. So actually there's a lot of friendship between ISKCON and Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. Also Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami was there, but he also wasn't a sannyasi. He was Sajan Sevak Brahmachari. And then another one, Nrsingananda Brahmachari, who I don't really know who that is. And then some other personalities. But it was from this one little rented flat that everything began. And he started the press. He had so many presses going. He reestablished the Navadvip Parikrama, the Vrajmandal Parikrama. In fact, he had parikramas going all over. He went to Dwarka, he went to Charodam, he went to the south. So it was very dynamic. And in 53? 53, in Jhansi, Prabhupada inaugurated the League of Devotees. He had already taken sannyas. No, he hadn't taken sannyas. That's right. He didn't take sannyas until 59. So it was before he took sannyas, he went to Jhansi. And in Jhansi, he was trying to get his movement started. He was a little bit successful. So in 1953, on this day, he started the League of Devotees. And he had a little temple, because he had a Mahaprabhu deity, which later, when he decided that he was not going to stay in Jhansi, that deity from Jhansi, the Mahaprabhu, he was taken to Mathura, and he was given to Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and this Mahaprabhu is still on the altar in the Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura, where Prabhupada took sannyas. So there's a lot of connections here. And even though the name changed, this League of Devotees, it was started on this day, so it had to be successful. It's spiritual, right? So it became ISKCON a little later. I think that was in 1966. I can't remember, 66 or 67 when they inaugurated, when they incorporated ISKCON. Can't remember the quite date. Somewhere around there. So it just took on a new name. That's all. It surfaced, then it went under a little bit, then it surfaced again, like this. Because anything spiritual started on this day, it will be successful. What to speak of is started by a pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada. So it had to be successful. But it was meant to be in the West, and then come to India. Not to start in India and go west. This is what was meant. This was Krishna's desire. So, let's see, there's... this is also the appearance day of the Shaktivesh avatar Parshuram. And Parshuram, he's a very difficult to understand avatar, because he had a very, very unusual life. I won't get so much into it, but he's famous for killing the Kshatriya caste for 21 times. And this is out of service to Krishna, out of his love and affection, actually. Like when a father is out of love and affection, chastising his sons because they've become delinquent, you might say. They become sinful. They're doing things they should not be doing. So the father has to punish them. It's out of love and affection. So this is Parshuram. Out of love and affection, actually, he was killing the Kshatriyas, ridding the earth of this burden of the Kshatriyas who had become very sinful. And they were doing all kinds of sinful activities like this. Very hard to understand, but anyhow. But he's also a very, I'll tell one history from him, which is very, it's very deep. His father was, what was his father's name? Jamadagni. Jamadagni. And he was a great rishi. And Parshuram had 3 older brothers. His mother's name was Renuka. And the father, for some reason, asked his sons to cut off the head of their mother. And he's like their guru. He's not just their father, but he's their guru. Now, the older 3 sons, they wouldn't do it. They're not going to cut off the head of their mother. But Parshuram was fully surrendered to his guru and his father, Jamadagni. So he cut off the head of his mother. Then Jamadagni said, cut off the head of all your brothers. So he did. And his guru, his father, Jamadagni, was so pleased with Parshuram, he said, okay, now ask for a benediction. So Parshuram said, so please make everything like it was before. The head of my mother should come back, the head of my 3 brothers should come back, and they should not understand anything that happened. And because Jamadagni was really guru and powerful, that happened. So this is not something we can imitate, though. As a guru, we shouldn't be telling people to cut off the heads of somebody's mother. This is a special leela of Jamadagni and Parshuram, right? But the teaching here is that if one has this kind of guru, if one has Sat Guru like this, one should unconditionally surrender, unconditionally, without any question, surrender, and it will be auspicious. That's a very it's a very, very stark example. Mostly our gurus are not asking us to cut off the head of our mothers, but they are asking us to give up, cut are tight knots of material illusion. Please, please, they're giving us the instructions. Chant Hare Krishna. Do bhajan of Krishna. Understand you're a servant of Krishna. Cut, cut, cut with the words of Guru and Shastra. Cut what? Cut the attachment to the material body. I'm not the body. And in that way, cut your attachment to your mother, your father, your sons, your brothers. So in this way, you're cutting off the heads of everyone, but not really externally. But you're cutting off your material attachment. Because it's not, it's temporary, and it's a binding force to the material world. We can never, ever attain Bhagavan with material attachments. It's not possible. So until we give up the identification of being the material body, I'm a woman, I'm from Spain, I'm a man, I'm from Russia, you know, as long as we have these, and oh, this room is mine, this money is mine, that's my mother. As long as we have these, we will never, ever, ever even be able to start bhajan of Bhagavan, what to speak of attain Bhagavan. Not possible. You see? So it's very merciful when Shri Guru gives the sword of, he cuts our ignorance with the sword of knowledge, isn't it? And the knowledge comes from chanting Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna purifies us so that actually transcendental knowledge can actually automatically manifest in our heart, in our minds, in our intelligence, in our ego. It can be transformed, spiritualized like this. And sooner or later, if we follow the instructions of Sadguru, we keep chanting Hare Krishna and following whatever instructions they give us, and in this day and age it isn't much. Don't eat meat, fish, and eggs. Don't gamble. Don't take intoxication. Please give up illicit sex. You know, a few other things. Not so much. We mainly chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Take Mahaprasadam. Surely, surely, we'll start to realize, actually realize, Vigyan, transcendental knowledge will come. Oh, I am not this body. I've had unlimited bodies. I am a spirit soul. I am that. And Krishna, the beginners is, Krishna's my mother, my father, my everything. A little bit higher when we chant some more under guidance of the Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavas, oh, Srimati Radhika is my Swamini, and Krishna is her Prananath, like this. This is our identity. And then, who was that mother? Who was the father? Who were our sons? They're spirit souls too. They're part of Lord Chaitanya's movement. You know, they're part of this congregation. They're spirit souls. They're my godbrothers, my godsisters. And then up higher, oh, maybe they're even my Sakis. Maybe they're also Manjaris, or they might be so, whatever. Or they might be Ram Bhaktas, whatever. But we start to see everyone who they really are. And that they belong to Krishna. Especially Krishna, Gaur Krishna, Mahaprabhu, they belong to Gaur Krishna. Because Sham Krishna, well, then they belong to Srimati Radhika or whoever. They might belong to Ram or Narayan, whoever. But everyone belongs to Gaur Krishna, Sachinanda and Gaur Hari. Everyone's there. And I am their servant. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Gopi Bhartor. That is Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis who has appeared as Sachinanda and Gaur Hari. That is our identity. So, okay, so that's with, with the sword of knowledge, we cut our material attachments. And we follow in the footsteps, you might say, of Parshuram. We're making the Guru's instructions our life and soul. And having full faith, like this. Let's see, if I missed anything for, let's see, Chanda and Yetra. I don't think so. Okay, so now we can turn back to Madhurya Kadambini. Now, last week, we heard about Maharaj Chitraketu. And from his history, we learned that actually, even though it appears that he committed a great offense to Lord Shiva, his godbrother, actually it was not an offense. It was all arranged by the Lord, and he had a desire simply to go back home, back to Godhead as soon as possible. And he didn't want Lord Shiva to be criticized, but there were so many reasons why this pastime happened. But his offense was not actually an offense. And we learned that. Why? Because his bhakti, his prem never lowered. He had the same bhakti in the body of Maharaj Chitraketu and in the body, the demon body of Vritrasura. His prem, his bhakti never changed, even in the demon body. So no offense. Because offense, your bhakti, you'll lose your bhakti. It'll go down. So now, next in the Madhurya Kadambini, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur starts describing the incident of Jai and Vijay. You might all know this incident. They're the doorkeepers of Lord Narayan. This is described in the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's very interesting. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Jai and Vijay, they actually were great devotees, and their prem was just overflowing. And because of this overflowing prem, a very unusual desire came in their heart that was actually pure. But if we try and imitate it, then we would be offensive. We cannot imitate the associates of the Lord, the pure devotees. We should never, ever imitate. But what happened for them was, they went to Lord Narayan and they said, we can see that one of your desires is not fulfilled. And we cannot bear that you have a desire that's not fulfilled. And that is the desire for combat, for, what do they get, Yuddha ras. I might not say it right, you know, for fighting, for the fighting ras. Vira ras. So, because there's no one strong enough to fight with you. So it can't be fulfilled. And all your devotees have such a, they have praying for you, they love you. They don't have an how do you say it? Antagonistic, I have to get it right, antagonistic mood. And the only way you can fight properly is if you have an antagonistic mood. See? So they said, so we're praying that you will inspire an antagonistic mood within our hearts. We want this because we want to be able to fulfill that, your desire of battle. We're so strong. We could battle with you, but we don't have the right mood. So we want you to inspire in our heart this mood. Even if it means that you have to forcibly stop your bhakta vatsalya, your favorable mood to the bhaktas. So most devotees don't understand this confidential secret of the story of Jai and Vijay. So what happened? Krishna accepted, or Narayan, he accepted in his heart. So he arranged for the 4 Kumaras, you know, headed by Sanat Kumar, who are just, they look like little babies, you know, 5 years old, but they're great, they're ahead of a sampradaya. Their acharya is Nimbaditya. They have all knowledge. You know, Srimati Radhika, the Sanat Kumar Samhita is all about Srimati Radhika and Braj Leela. They know everything. So they were coming, they wanted to see Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. And by the will of Lord Narayan, what happened? Because they look like this, Jai and Vijay, because they're inspired, they won't let them in. They stop the 4 Kumaras. And by the will of Narayan, the Kumaras get angry. How could these guys, they got very angry. What, you won't let us in? And they curse Jai and Vijay to fall and take birth in a race of demons. I think they had the choice that they could have 3 births as a demon or what was it, 5 or 7 verses of devotees, something like that. Yeah, and they chose the demons because they wanted this viraras, but also it was quicker. So by the desire of Narayan, to fulfill the desire of his devotees that wanted to serve him in this way, they became, first, it was Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu. And they did put up a good battle. If you read about the battles in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they were good battles. They were huge. I mean, Hiranyaksha was huge. He was racing all over, you know, he was huge, causing a big disturbance. What to speak of Hiranyakasipu? He practically, you know, built a staircase to heaven. He was conquering everywhere. But, as we know, Lord Varaha, and isn't this interesting? Narayan comes as Lord Varaha, a big boar, you know? And they said it was beautiful. Can you imagine? A beautiful boar? And one of it, sometimes he comes as different incarnations of Lord Boar. One time he came out of the nostril of Lord Brahma. And then he got bigger and bigger and bigger, you know? And then he fought with, it's exciting. Read the Bhagavatam, it's really good. But of course, Narayan, in the form of Lord Bar, easily kills Hiranyaksha. But still, he had a good fight. He had a good fight. And then as Hiranyakasipu, we know, Lord Nrsingadev appears out of the pillar and gives a good fight to Hiranyakasipu, who actually had no... But anyhow, it was a good fight. Then later it was Kumbhakarna and Ravan. And definitely, I don't know so much about Kumbhakarna. Anyhow, somehow he fought with Ram. But Ravan gave a good fight because he even stole Sita. I mean, whoa, that's pretty bold. So anyhow, they had a good fight. Good fight. And then next it was Shishupal and Dantavakra in Krishna Lila. That was a good fight too. In fact, Shishupal had a boon that it would be after 100 insults that only could he would be killed. So he was always insulting Krishna. I think they were cousins or something. There was some relationship. And he was, but it wasn't until the final, then Krishna just took his chakra and boom. That was the end of him. And Dantavakra also put up a good fight near Mathura, actually. Dantavakra fought with Krishna, and in the Padma Purana, it states that after Krishna killed Dantavakra, then in one form he goes back to Dwarka, and in another form, his original form, he goes back to Braj. That's when he actually returns to Braj. And he satisfies all the Brajbasis, and then in a short time he takes them all back to Aprakat Vrindavan, like this. And then, actually, we've heard that Jai and Vijay become Jagai and Madai. And in that form, they actually get praying. Again, their praying is awakened, again, because they didn't, it was dormant, because they had the mood, the antagonistic mood, there was in their heart. But as Jagai and Madai, they give this up, they get the mercy of Nitai Gaur. And in one form, they go to Narayan as Jai and Vijay, and I've been told that in another form they actually go to Braja Vrindavan. Or maybe it was Navadvip, Golok Navadvip, I can't quite remember. But anyhow, they attain another swarup like this. But this is because of their praying. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Gurudev, in his commentary on this part of the Madhurya Kadambini, says, if any devotee feels some kind of desire to follow in the footsteps of Jai and Vijay, some antagonistic mood to come so they can fight with Krishna, that actually this is an offense. They should immediately kick out that desire. That is just not appropriate for sadhaks. No. And that would be an offense. That would be trying to imitate the eternal associates, like that. So we have to be very, very careful. And it says also we had the same mood about Chitraketu. If we wanted to follow it like him, also we have to kick out that desire. Also, if we think somehow or other we start to think that Maharaj Chitraketu and Jai and Vijay all actually committed an offense, that's also an offense on our part. We should never ever think that they committed an offense. They did not. Because it's all the desire of the Lord. We found that out with Chitraketu, Maharaj. We find that out with Jai and Vijay. It's all the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to be very careful. This is why we need Satguru. We need Vaishnavas to explain things. We need the Shastras, the Srimad Bhagavatam to explain things to us so we understand. And then when things are happening to us here in the material world, because it's an illusory world. This is an illusory world. It isn't what it seems to be. So we have to be very, very careful when we're dealing with other devotees. Even when we're dealing with non-devotees, we have to be very careful. Very careful. We should always have the mood of compassion, understanding they're a spirit soul. But according to their conditioning, if they're a non-devotee, then we act in a certain way. If they're inimical, we avoid them. We pray that they can become, that they can become free from their inimical conditioning. And as part of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, we might even give them a book, give them some Mahaprasada. But basically, we avoid them like that. If they're just innocent, then we try and help them in their become Krishna conscious. We actively help them. If they're our peers, we become friends with them. And we have Istagosi, we help each other, nourish each other's bhakti. And if they're superior, then we worship them and we serve them. And the Supreme Lord is our object, right? So we have to be careful. Very careful. Because we don't know, just like in the Bhagavatam, which I brought up before, with Maharaj Rishabdev, Jad Bharat, when they were acting like they were just dumb and dull, like Avaduts, we wouldn't have recognized them. No way would we recognize that they were exalted. One's in a Shaktivesh avatar, Rishabdev, and the other one, Yad Bharat, is his son who is a great, great, amazing devotee. So we should always have proper etiquette with all living beings. Not that we have the right, because of our material identification, like the story of Yad Bharat. Maharaj Rahugana, the king of, I forget who he was the king of, he had that abhiman, that I'm the king. He was a bit spiritually inclined, but still he had the abhiman, I'm the king. And he had every right to chastise Yad Bharat as the palanquin carrier, because he was making the palanquin rock and disturbing the king. In this case, the proper Vaishnava behavior would be that you very politely speak to the palanquin carriers. You very politely, very nicely, humbly speak, oh, there seems to be a problem. Is someone having a problem? We speak properly. We don't become puffed up and proud and chastise persons unduly. No. We don't do that just because they're disturbing us. We very politely ask, oh, there seems to be a problem. What is the problem? This is even just normal behavior, human behavior, what to speak of devotee behavior. This is important. Vaishnava etiquette, what to speak of just human etiquette, like this. These are all actually, these kind of principles are all given in the creation by Brahma. If you read the Bhagavatam, the Vedas are given, and the Vedas are full of dharma, what should be done, what should not be done, on all levels, all levels. What to speak of, what is to be done on the Vaishnava level, like this. What to speak of, we now have Mahaprabhu, the topmost guru, Krishna himself coming as guru, teaching us, Trinadapi Sunichena, himself giving Shikshastakam, himself. And the rule is, Trinadapi Sunichena, what is that? I am more lower than a piece of straw in the street. That means I'm worthless. Because a straw in the street, you could probably take a few and make a little fire. You could use them. They're a little useful, right? But I'm so useless. Like this. Please engage me. I'm so insignificant. I'm so useless. I have no qualification unless you give me qualification. Like this. And then what's the next one? Tororapi suisnana. Tree. More tolerant than a tree. No matter what happens to a tree, what happens? The tree never complains. Somebody comes to cut it down. It's still giving the fruits, the flowers, the shade. A dog urinates on the tree, still giving everything. Never complains. Always giving, giving. And then the third one, amanina amanadena. Never wanting any respect. But always giving respect. It's very difficult. We all want respect. If someone just happens to hit, we're walking along and they just kind of, oh, well, she ran into me. Yeah. Like, or else, oh. I mean, there's so many unlimited examples, of, she looked at me cross-eyed. Can't handle that, or you hear that someone's saying something about you, not nice, that isn't even true. You get all disturbed. Maharaj Rishabdev never got disturbed. Yad Bharat never got disturbed. Because they didn't identify as the body. If we don't identify as the body, if we identify as a spirit soul, these things are they're just a botheration. For a person who's very highly spiritually advanced, he's simply absorbed in his seva to Bhagavan, whatever form. He does not want to be disturbed in his seva. So if someone comes along and says, okay, fine, they do not want to be disturbed in their seva, their internal seva that they're doing. These things are so insignificant. Someone says, okay. That's their ignorance. That's their own ignorance. A good example is our Acharya, Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, I think I've told this Leela before. I probably have. Anyhow, yeah, I did recently actually, so I'll tell it quickly. But a Digvijay came to Vrindavan. A Digvijay is a scholar, a big learned man who wants to be #1 scholar in India. And he goes around all over India debating with the big scholars and winning the debate. And everyone has to side, and whoever gets the most, then he's the topmost Digvijay in India. So this Digvijay heard about Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, came to Vrindavan, and he challenged them to a debate. And they were so absorbed in their internal seva, they could not be bothered. They just said, okay, and they signed. Who cares? Fine, you want to be the big Digvijay? That's fine with us, like this. Of course, later Jiva Goswami defeated him because he didn't want to see his gurus defamed, but like this, So we have to come to a really higher platform where nothing can disturb us that is related to the body or to the material, mental platform either. Oh, you're stupid. You're so stupid. Everything you say is stupid. Okay, fine. Everything I say is stupid. Or, yeah, what do you mean I'm stupid? Like this. Those are just gross examples. But you know what I mean? Whether it's on the gross level or the subtle level. And Yad Bharat only started to speak to Maharaj Rahugana out of compassion for him. Not because he was retaliating because the king had insulted him. No. He only started to speak to him because he thought, oh, okay, he's this poor king, this poor guy. I am going to give him spiritual knowledge. So it was his compassion, his mercy, that he started to speak to the king. And then, of course, he insulted the king by calling him a fool, showing him what the bodily platform really was. And the king fell at the feet of Yad Bharat, realized who he was, and became enlightened by the instructions of Yad Bharat. And so then he left everything, and he attained enlightenment. And what did Yad Bharat do? He just went on his merry way, wandering around the world, still acting like a dumb and dull. And who knows who else he bestowed his mercy on, like this. So we really, really hope one day we can make a nice prayer on Akshaya Tritiya, that we can make the instructions of our Guru our life and soul, our service to our Guru our life and soul, have unflinching faith, unbreakable faith in our Guru. And beginning with that, we start to see, I am the servant of my Guru. I'm an eternal spirit soul. I'm an eternal servant of my Guru. Eternal. I've had so many bodies, so many this. And selflessly, I want to become selfless so I can serve my Guru with gratitude, affection, like this, eternally. Like this. And then Shri Guru will bestow his mercy, and eventually we'll attain bhav, we'll attain prem, and we'll meet our Guru in her form with Radha and Krishna, or with Lord Narayan, Ram, whoever, like this. Most of us, though, are Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavas, so we'll become the maidservants of Srimati Radhika, and we'll meet our Gurus there, like that. But the material attachments must be cut. Must be cut with that sword of knowledge. So that's why it's said in this particular story, it's said in this particular pastime of Jai and Vijay, that if any offensive attitude comes, like thinking that Jai and Vijay actually committed an offense, or if we get some desire, oh, I want to be like Jai and Vijay, I want to fight with Krishna, with our intelligence coming from Shri Guru and Shastra, we have to kick out that desire and that thought. It is our duty now to use the mercy that's been given to us. It's not that we just say, oh, mercy, 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 and if something happens, oh, well, I didn't know, I just mercy, mercy, No, we have to take what's given to us and put it into practice. And that's not just mechanically chanting on our japa beads. No, it means actually making the instruction, making the instructions, this is prasadam, making the instructions of our Guru our life and soul. So if our Guru says, you don't go around and criticize people, you don't fault find anybody, what to speak of devotees, what to speak of pure devotees, you don't do that, then we have to practice that. It's not, oh, mercy, 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 oh, I couldn't control my tongue, oh, well, yeah. No, we have to practice. And when we make a mistake, we have to say, I'm sorry, please help me. Gurudev, give me the strength to be able to control my tongue. My tongue is so difficult. And if somebody says something about us we don't like and we get all angry, oh, Gurudev, please help me. I can't, I'm not humble. Please help me to become humble and not care what other people say, like this. If someone is like, you're the senior devotee and someone comes in and, and takes your chair away from you and asks you to sit on the floor, whatever, and then you want your respect. Wait a minute, they're not respecting me. Or they went ahead of me to get the Charnamrita and I'm more senior to them. Oh, no, Gurudev, please help me. Please help me to be able to make Trinadapi my life and soul. All these things. Not just, oh, Gurudev, Gurudev, we love you, Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. And there's a whole bunch of devotees, I get on my way now. Gurudev, here I am. Ooh, yeah. Me, see me. Ah. No, we can always stay in the back and Hare Krishna, Hare Bo. Yeah. The behavior. They're looking for the behavior with our bodies, the behavior with our minds and our intelligence. Like this. They're watching. They're watching. And of course we're going to make mistakes. But if we regret, we want to regret and lament. Oh, there it goes again. There it goes again. I want to be number one again. I wanted to be it. I wanted you to see me. I want to be your most favorite disciple, Gurudev, please. Please give me the biggest ladu. Please let me in for my private darshan and don't let anybody else in. Gurudev once said, he said, I don't say anything more intimate in any private darshan than I say from the Vyasa-san. I'm giving everything to everyone. But still we want our private darshan with nobody else in. Yes. And we're not so happy if someone else is going in first. Whereas the example I've given before, when one attains perfection and one becomes maidservant of Srimati Radhika, I think it's in the Śrī Govindalila or else the Krishna Bhavanamrita, I can't remember which one. So it's either Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He explains that when the manjaris are taking the remnants of Srimati Radhika, which is also the remnants of Krishna, when they're taking these remnants, they are taking this and they're trying to put the best on the other manjari's plate. They're not just, oh yes. No, they're fighting to put on the other manjari's plate, like this. They want to serve, they want the best for their sakis, for their friends, like this, like that. And they're also, when they're seva, the manjaris, oh, you go serve, you serve. Here, I'm back here, I'm making the garland, the mala, you take and give, like this. Selfless, wanting, sharing. There's no competition like that. It's affection and love, pure. This is real. This is what we're looking for, isn't it? We're kind of tired of all this competitive envy. It's really tiring. It's really boring, and it's not happiness. We want that. This is what we're all looking for, is this Braj Bhav. The Braj Bhav where Krishna is the center, just to make Krishna happy, like this. We want everyone to make Krishna happy. We're helping everyone serve Krishna, like this. Okay. Are there any questions or comments or anything? Maybe not. Okay, so let's have kirtan.
I heard also it was the descent of Ganga.
Well, I have heard that, but I've also heard that it was on a different day, so I didn't say that. That's why I didn't. I've heard of many other things, but I only put the main ones that I know for sure. So.
This is not 100% sure. Today is Krishna Maharaj. Yes.
Yeah, but some people say it was on this other day, and so I, yeah. Anyhow, for all of you that, yeah, right, I know. So, yeah, that's the thing. There's different kalpas. That explains it. So for some, it's the descent of the Ganga today, which I have heard. Yeah. Others say it's on a different day, but that's okay. Different kalpas. There was a whole list, actually. Where's my phone? What did I do with my phone? Oh, yeah. There were a few other things that were actually kind of interesting. Let's see here. Yeah. This one's really nice. There is a deity of Lord Nrsingadev. what's his name? His name is, where is he? In Simhachalam. Simhachalam, that's in South India. There's a Lord Nrsingadev there that gives his darshan only once a year, and that's on this day, because the rest of the year he's fully covered with sandalwood paste. You can't even have darshan of him. But today he's not, which is interesting because this is Chandan Yatra. That's today. And some people say that the great sage Vyasadeva began composing the Mahabharata today, that Ganesh started writing today. Oh, yes. And now there's a controversy over it. Some say that this day is the beginning of Tritiya Yuga, and others say it's the beginning of Satya Yuga. There you go. And let's see. And some say that Sri Ballavacharya started his worship of Sri Nathji today. And that Sudama Brahma went to visit Krishna in Dwarka on this day. I don't know. And the Pandavas received the Akshaya Patra, which is that, remember their magic pot? That if there's anything in it, they could feed unlimited persons. They from the sun god today. That's what people say. Kubera, the god of wealth, he received his wealth today. And Garuda Vahana Seva is held in Kumbakonam on this day. So there's quite a few, and they say that Goddess Annapurna Devi appeared on this day. So anyhow, I'm not sure. I only mentioned the ones that I'm totally sure of. Yes. The main thing is it's a very auspicious day. And we should begin again our dedication to Sri Guru, isn't it? We should again renew our dedication.
Today is not the disappearance day of Bhisma.
Not that I've heard of, no. Okay. Yeah.
Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Aksoya Gadadhara Śrīvasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrīvasadi Gadadhara Śrīvasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Aksoya Śrīvasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha, Giridhari Radhe.
Giridhari Radha, Giridhari Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe.
Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. There's also something I forgot to mention about today. There's two Gaudiya Vaishnavas, disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and it's their appearance day. Tridandi Swami Shishimad Bhakti Soda Ashram Goswami Maharaj, he appeared today, who's a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Tridandi Swami Shishimad Bhakti Vaibhav Madhav Goswami Maharaj, who's also a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta, he appeared today. And I was just thinking of one thing, because sometimes it's fairly easy to understand how to act properly with our bodies. But sometimes with our words, we don't realize how much we cause suffering to others with our words and how we say things, like the tone of our voice, or even the words that we use. Now, I've been told that Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, even Bhaktisiddhanta himself, they always said things very sweetly and very positively. I'll give an example. Let's say someone's sitting in the temple. They're either devotee or non-devotee, doesn't matter, and they have their back to the deities. Now, this is actually an offense to the deities to sit with your back. Now, someone could say, "Oh, you idiot, turn around, you know, you just don't sit with your back." Or someone could say, "Oh, excuse me, you know that it's actually proper if you sit with your front, with your facing the deities." What a difference. What a difference in the tone of voice, and even the words they use. One was positive, one is negative. So if we start to look at and see how it's going to affect the other person, is it going to make them feel good? Or is it going to make them feel horrible? Just because it makes us feel good to shout at them? Because you get kind of a mundane sense pleasure out of, "Oh, you idiot." Yeah, it makes you feel kind of good, you know, on the material platform, if you're a bully. You know, so like this, we should be careful also of how we speak to others, how we think about others. Okay. Jai Akshaya Tritiya ki jai ho. Chandan Yatra ki jai ho.